didn't want to put the story down and not read it. So I said, I'm going to have you be our personal story, invited story starter. But it's spelled out piss, so I didn't read that. But anyway, put your hands together for a non-competing storyteller, Dave LaRue.
Alrighty, yeah, I have to read because I'm old. This is a story called Being the Butt of Jokes, both literally and figuratively. Back in about 1988, I lived in Puerto Rico, and for fun and exercise, I surfed. One afternoon, the wind was blowing, making lots of bumps in the water. I wanted to get some exercise, but the waves didn't look very good. I went out. There was no other surfers out in the water, just me. I caught a few waves, nothing to write home about. Just me and my board sitting out in the Caribbean Sea on a windy afternoon. Here's the story. I took off in a particularly bumpy wave, and as I dropped in, I hit a particularly big bump. And the surfboard and I were launched particularly high in the sky. The surfboard soaring in the air, and me, my arms akimbo and flailing. The surfboard landed first. When I landed, I came down vertically, gravity pulling on me, right on the fin of the surfboard. Right between my legs. The fin went right up my butt. My keister, my duff, my caboose. In golf terminology, it was a hole-in-one. My first reaction, of course, was shock. I suppose it could have been amusement, given that this would be something that would happen to a cartoon character. But that was not my first or even my second thought at all. I landed butt down on my surfboard fin. Then I got myself together, I grabbed my surfboard, and I paddled back out thinking, gee, that could have been bad. As a follow-up, because I'm the kind of guy who follows up, I thought to myself, and I took my hand and I reached below my nether area and it came back bloody. Uh-oh. I immediately paddled back to the beach and got in my car. I remembered there was a small medical clinic in town. I drove quickly into town, my butt cheeks tightly clenched. And I went into the clinic in my swimsuit. The doctor was sitting at a desk, dressed in white, deeply engrossed in a People magazine. Apparently there was some hope that Brad and Angelina could get back together. I told him about my situation, and he nodded wisely as if he'd seen this 100 times before. Spoiler alert, he hadn't. He led me back into the examination room. As I entered the examination room, I noticed a taxi driver sitting in a chair in the corner, almost like he was waiting for me, wearing a dirty old polyester leisure suit, remember those? Sporting a stubbly beard. The doctor instructed me to pull down my swimsuit and assume the position, buns up kneeling. Wait a sec, I pointed out to the doctor, why is the taxi cab driver here? The doctor replied, he's no taxi driver, he's the doctor. I'm his nurse, he doesn't speak any English, so I will translate. I had a new burst of confidence in my situation. So there I was, buns up kneeling. I don't recall much about what happened next or how they managed to stitch me up because this is a very sensitive area back there. I mean, they must have numbed me first, but how'd they do that? Did they use needles to numb me? What was going on? That's very sensitive tissue, amongst the most of sensitive tissue. But my taxi cab doctor, wearing his dirty old polyester leisure suit, speaking incomprehensibly in Spanish to me, did a wonderful job. I could hardly feel his beard stubble as he motorboated deep into my nether regions. In the end, and I mean this both literally and figuratively, I got a couple of stitches. I thanked them both profusely. Again, they literally and figuratively saved my ass. I couldn't surf for a couple of weeks as a result, nor could I sit comfortably. Plus, I was really embarrassed. I had injured myself in the most personal way, and I did not want to admit it publicly. I had sliced my nether regions. I had attempted to add a new sphincter. This was not something I was proud of. I went to one of the local bars, and one of my surfer friends asked me about my life. Hesitatingly, I told him my story, expecting immediate and everlasting ridicule. His reaction was confounding and completely unexpected. Whoa, that happened to Jerry Lopez last year. He got axed at the pipeline, sliced his butt right up. You're a surf hero now, dude. Oh my goodness, instead of becoming literally and figuratively the butt of jokes, I became a local hero because a Hawaiian surfing god had the same accident a year previously. Suddenly, I'm no longer the guy who ass-planted his surfboard. I'm the guy who had an epic surfing injury. The kind of injury that separates the amateurs from the pros. Because apparently you're not a real surfer until the ocean tries to annihilate you in an embarrassing way. So yeah, I went from being the butt of jokes, again literally and figuratively, to becoming a local legend. That lasted for months, as I recall, or perhaps maybe an hour. And you know what? I'll take it, because if you're going to have a story about slicing your nether regions, you might as well have it with a side of ham.
There we
The
go.
story starter, Dave LaRue. My favorite part of the story is he didn't want to tell anybody because he was too embarrassed.